This is going to be showing you a solo flawless master Presage mission, which is the new Whisper style 0 hour style mission this season. For those that just want to see this and skip the time on the screen, first I can show you my setup, etc. So you do get the catalyst for the exotic scout rifle when you do a master. You can also get some triumphs. There's a solo triumph which can be obtained via normal mode or master. There's also a flawless run which requires a flawless run on master, difficulty only. Does not require solo flawless, just flawless. So you can do it in a team flawless or solo flawless. Here's the emblem anyways, which is very well designed. This is one of the best looking emblems in the game. So this was a motivation for me to get a solo flawless on it. I know Bungie haven't put solo flawless to it, and I'll explain a little bit why they haven't done that, and I kind of know why they haven't done it. But that's what the emblem looks like. So we're doing it on a Titan. Why are we doing it on a Titan? Because I'm enjoying Titan this season, and Titan is one of the hardest classes on this one. However, with this setup, it makes the Titan very powerful because of the style of amount of ads that are coming at you, etc. The Warlock, if you're going to go Warlock, you go Void Walker, Controverse Hold. On a Hunter, you go Invis, I would say. Definitely Invis, and then probably Anarchy or something. But that's just suggestions for those classes. But this is on a Titan. So we're using top tree Sentinel, which gives us Ward of Dawn Bubble. We have Magnetic Grenade. Don't use that. Use Void Wall, which is a better nade than Magnetic for what we're sort of doing. So that was a mistake. We've got Tower and Barricade on for safety. Weapons. We have a Cold Front Kinetic SMG because it's a really good roll, and I like this weapon, so I'm using it. We have Truthteller with Blinding Grenades. This is so powerful. Better than Spike because of its utility, which I'll discuss in the run itself. If you do not have a Spike Grenade Truthteller, then probably use the new Salvo GL. Thing is, that won't have Spike Blinding, which is going to put you at risk, and also it's arc. So I think if anyone's serious enough about PvE, they keep a Blinding Grenade roll. Okay. But that's just what I was using, and we're using the absolute best setup we can without having to dip into raid exotics. So you've got to bear that in mind. We have a major spec on it as well. Then we're using the exotic sword, the Lament, which anyone can get. Very powerful, still the most powerful sword in the game. Still very good on DPS, even though it's got nerfed. So we're using that. Then we're pairing it with the exotic gauntlet Synthoceps. Synthoceps states, increases melee, lunge range, improved melee and super damage when you are surrounded. You are surrounded often, so we're using it, and it's a huge damage buff. Okay, I can't mind the percentage offhand. I would have to look on Reddit to find that out. I'm sure someone's going to tell me, but it's a crazy buff, and it works on all Titan supers. And this is where the melee lunge range, not the melee lunge, but the melee comes into it. Improved melee. Pairing that with top tree. Which one is it? Melee kills restore health for you and nearby allies. This works on uncharged or charged melees. It's like Devour. Okay. So in terms of armor perks, we're using hands on, which gives us increased super energy on melee kills. Sword ammo finder. Shield break charge. GL launcher loader with Radiant Light. Radiant Light's just to help out another arc mod. It gives us plus 20 strength, which is actually okay. Strength's okay. It's okay to run strength sometimes. Don't be always falling into the trap of recovery discipline. And there's a spam in it. I generally check players all the time, run recovery discipline. Sometimes you can run other things, okay? You definitely can, and this is okay. So on our chest plate, we've got solar damage resistance, concussive dampener with a charged up light mod. We have sword scavenger, GL scavenger on, and then a Lucent Blade with passive guard, which is an artifact mod. You need this on if you're going to run this setup. Lucent Blade enables us to get that 35% damage buff, which doesn't stack with bubble, but it's still something we can use when we're not using bubble. Other than that, obviously shield break charge, that's how we get now a charge of light, but that was the setup. Okay, so seeing as though this is a complex mission, if you haven't like actually done any experience with it at all, I'll try my best to explain the routes you go, what you exactly do at each point. So this is the route you follow. You go on the outside of the ship. This is the jumping part of it, if you like. And you sort of taking each platform as it comes, then you back onto yourself. And you take another jump, and then it's just, you know, this is just sort of the route you take. Now, when you start this mission up, it will spawn you with full ammo, which is good. Kind of like what Nightfall's at. With this part, you just want to concentrate on going right, right, and right. After the first vent, just go right, and then you can go left to this room. The rest of the vents you don't want to take at this moment in time. They might provide clues or whatever, which I haven't even looked into one bit. I haven't seen any sort of video on it. I haven't had a chance. This is just technically a solo flawless master run. That's all. It's just focused on getting it done and the combat parts of the run, and you know, the puzzles. So when I come to this area here, now you saw I meleeed the spores. So when you melee or shoot a spawn, you get a 14-second buff. We'll call it a buff. And it just ensures that you can run through a dark zone. If the buff runs out, you don't die or something. Okay, it's just a buff to get you past something that runs out, and then you can refresh it. A spore can't be shot twice back to back though. It's on a cooldown. But on a run like this, I'm afraid it's one of those things where there's little room for error. Okay, you want as much time as possible. It's like a 0 hour where it was kind of like, you know, you forced it at the time. Now, I've often said Nightfalls used to have the timers. I used to enjoy them. Do I think it's good on this mission? I think so, yeah, because on Master, it's not that big of an ask for 3 people in a fire team to get this done. It's not. Solo, it's different. Yeah, that's going to be a little difficult, you know, for most, especially with 1320. Now, as you saw there, I skipped the scribs by using the Truthteller. Just doing a shot, bounce it off a wall, doesn't matter where it goes, as long as it's somewhere near. And that will then enable you to bypass. It's all about time saves. Just follow the route. As you saw, I shot that fuse, went up, activated the lever, try to jump over the floor so that some of them explode. That's kind of going to help you when you go back, because you're all about getting levers and shooting fuses, and then spores. So there's 3 mechanics. A lever is going to obviously open a door, the spore will get you past the darkness zone, and a fuse will also sort of open doors or bypass electrical shield waves. Once you shoot the fuse, then you can go to this area here. The platforms will, that little platform rotates, so it'll rotate as you're jumping to it. Try to get some momentum down that chute, it saves you time. Yeah, it might be 10 seconds, 5 seconds, but every little second counts, helps you out. This is the trash compactor section, so you need to shoot three fuses for you to exit this area. So you have scribs that spawn in. Now, people have said that this is a bug that you can survive the trash compactor, but I don't believe so. I believe that they've intended that you can survive it, so that it resets, so that you have a way of learning where all the fuses are, because when the fuses are random each run, but if you say don't get all the fuses in time, you can go to where the cheese place is. Well, we're going to call it the cheese place, but I don't think it is. I think it's intended so that the compactor doesn't kill you, and then you know where the fuses are for the next time, and there's no scrapes, and you'll get it second go. If you don't do it in one go like that, you're going to lose a minute. It's exactly a minute, just about, because I've timed it where I haven't done it, like where I've had to wait. Because if you have to wait again, the compactor doors go wide. You've got to wait for that, you've got to wait to activate the lift again, and then overall you're losing a minute, which is a minute lost at the boss. Now, with this bit, there's 2 snipers at the back. It's imperative that you get those down. Because we're using a sword them both. Then you immediately pop your super. Because you're surrounded, you're getting the Synthoceps buff, and you take out all the Void Captains. The Void Captains are the nuisance, but on this super, it's good. You know, we haven't got arc. Now there are arc shields and match games on, okay, in this master mission. There's meant to be champions as well, but well, it says the champion mod on, but mob, you know, but obviously there isn't scorn champions. But anyways, once you've cleared that room, so that room there is just an ad clear room. So the focal point is that there's 3 void captains, 2 snipers that need to take out the back. Then there's 2 individual spawns of those ads that come, you know, in your face, whatever they're called. And obviously we can use our melee to our advantage. We're going to get a blind on this captain here. This is another ad clear room. This is probably one of the more difficult ones. So what you want to do is take out the void captain at the top, then go down below and take the solar captain, blind before you go for the captains. The captains melt you. So if you blind them, then you can go in with a sword. Swords bypass shields. So I bypass the arc shield, so I don't need arc on. There's not many arc shields in this, there's more void and solar. So that's why I prioritise those 2 shields. When you take down the 2 captains like that, or the 3 captains, you'll get the 2 yellow bar scorn ogres with a bunch more ads, ravagers, whatever they're called. So how this bit works is you'll have 2 individual spawns of ravagers. 1 set of ravagers will spawn at the start, and then once 1 yellow bar ogre is killed, another set will spawn. But while that's going on, while you're doing DPS to the ogre, which obviously you're going to be using a sword to take them out, you're going to have screebs spawn, and not randomly, they're linked to the HP of the ogres by looks. Or they're on a timer, one of the 2. When you take out as well that ogre, you'll get another void captain spawn at the top. You want to go up there and deal with that, because you don't want the void captain taking you from when you're down below. And that just means that up here is your safety zone. So as you can see, we took out 1 ogre already. We now have a super to go, so we're going to use it. I would focus it mainly on getting the ads down, the captains especially, because you don't need DPS so much on the ogre. The ogre, your sword's going to do most of the work. Now the sword ammo finder is going to help you out, of course. It's going to help you get that ammo when you need it, which is why you won't run out as much. And then there'll be a solar captain to the left that I haven't took yet. So, depending on where the ogre is, if the ogre's away from the captain, you can sort of go for the ogre, because obviously you get health regen while you're doing the perk of Lament. Now obviously you want to do your 4 or 5 swipes, do your heavy, and then just do light swings until that till your recharge rate goes back up, and then you can start doing the Lament action again. You always want to be doing a Lament perk where you're getting the health back, just in case a captain comes up. The captains in this, for some reason, they just sort of melt you down at close range, and they can anyways. So you've always got to be careful of them. Obviously, if you're below 1320 power, this mission is harder. It's just a fact. If you're at 1320 power, you know, it's not going to be as hard. It's just a time-intensive run. Okay, you have to sort of optimize each part, which I enjoy doing that stuff, because that's what I sort of do in runs anyways, even if there isn't a timer on Nightfalls and stuff. Not so to speak, there is the score timers, but not a time where you go to orbit, or you know, you just fail the run. So I sort of do that in the Nightfalls anyway, so it's just sort of the same thing, but we actually do have a timer now. So just follow the route. As you see, you're going to get screebs in this room. You could avoid them, probably, but I would advise just taking them out, because they're so easy just to take out. You're only losing 5 or 10 seconds. Now, I have said that this run's time intensive. The thing is, you save a lot of time on this run because of the setup. The setup's based around the boss at the very end, doing maximum damage and making it as easy as possible. Now with this bit's a bit difficult because I've got an SMG on, a bit tricky. So I'm going to do the damage from here. The reason why looks silly, but I'm doing it there so I can jump up. So that fuse breaks that electrical wave. Then there's 2 switches. Make sure you get both. Don't get just one. Get both. That will then open a door below to get the next spore.
need something different?
I'll just do the 2 melees. It just means I don't have to reload as much. I don't know what's quicker, we're just doing 10 SMG bullets or doing the 2 melees. Doesn't really matter, just however you want to do it. In this bit, I would advise taking the ads out in this room as well, which is easy enough done. There's 3 screams, 3 to 4, that will push you. Let them push you, take them out, single them out from the rest of the ads. Then we can get some blinds going. You can get some blinds, you can even go in there with a sword. Just bear in mind there's 2 void captains, so the thing is, if you're going to go in there, make sure you blind at least 1 or 2 captains. So we weren't ready to go swording yet. When we get a blind like that, we're ready. If they do put a device up that change you like that, take it with the sword. It just takes it out, and it just means you're not going to get, you know, unwanted damage taken. So we'll activate this lift. There'll be a turret down below. We'll just sort him for quickness. What I will say is that your ammo now doesn't matter. So spam sword, spam grey launcher, because you're going to be able to put a banner down at the boss fight. That's kind of important to know, because if you're just using primary on everything, it's like, oh well, I need ammo for the boss. Well, you don't, because you can put a banner down. Okay, so this bit, basically, you want to open the one with 2 doors. Left and right's only got 1 door each, but you open the 2, so behind you and in front of you, you get a spore. Then you run the opposite direction of where that spore is. Then you take a left. You jump over the scrape. And then you go to the switch. Now that looks harder than what it is. But once I learned the route, when I first saw this, I was like, this is ridiculous. Because it all looks the same. But once you know the route, once you know that you just go straight ahead. Then you take a left. Then you get the switch. And then you jump to the previous room. This opens this door. Which then there's going to be more ads. You will have your super for this bit. If you're on the sort of same timing as myself, which is a good time to use it. Just be careful of the scrapes though. They can still kill you while you're in your super. They just do so much damage. Like if 3 scrapes all explode on me at once, that could be a death, even if I'm in the Roman super. Once we've cleared out the ads, get the lever at the back, that opens up this door for the fuse. Take the fuse, and then we'll run back to the start of this room. This is where the spore is. We'll take the spore, and then this can bypass this next zone. I redone my buff, which you don't need to do it there. That was just force of habit, rebuffing it. You don't need to do it there, because what you're doing right now is you're just coming to take out 2 snipers. There's 3 snipers in this area, but just take 2. If you leave 2 snipers up, you're risky. 1, you're fine. Shoot that fuse there. There's only 1 fuse in this room. Then you can go back, get the original buff, because you need this buff to then get to the second spores. Now, I don't know if you can do this in one link. I imagine you can. But as I said, I haven't really looked up any videos. This is something I tested a bunch of different loadouts on. And I learned it myself, because there's not much fun for me to look at someone's run and then copy, you know, word for word, or you know, action to action, if you like. We'll get a banner down, rally that. That's very important you do it. You want full ammo at this boss. And then this is the boss fight. So the boss is going to spawn in the middle always. There's no randomness to that. You'll do the Lament perk straight away, and you want to do as much damage until immune, which is very easy. Then the boss will spawn down below. Be careful, because there'll be ads spawn on left, middle, right. There's a captain on each side, so you want to do a blind as soon as you finish DPS and get a blind in, because you could get melted down. So you need to know exactly what you're doing at the right time and quick to react. Captain on the middle side hasn't got any ads on this side. Just noticing now. So we can get a blind here, and then we can do only 1 sword swing, takes the shield, and then just melee, because we've got biotic enhancements, which just means we can nearly almost one-shot the captains with a melee, just like that, because we're surrounded. Now, with the mechanics for the boss, once you've cleared all ads, there'll be 2 other ads spawn at each switch. Take those out too. So there's a switch at the back and front. Then there's the switch in the middle. Take out the ad in the heated room. You're taking tick damage. See this? But once you get the 3rd switch, it stops. The ad can kill you if you don't while you're taking tick damage. So just take the ad out. Simple as that. So now we go down below. So there's 2 floors to this boss room. The boss will not have any ads around him. We're going to do a bubble. It's safe to do so. Just make sure you're doing the bubble close to an exit. Keep going back in your bubble every now and then let the boss bait the boss to your bubble. A bubble lasts ages, lasts quite long, so definitely want to do that. And then what you want to do is get out of there, because you take tick damage, because that's the basis of the mechanic. The room overheats, so you're using the switches at the top of the room to clear out, to cool the room at the bottom. Now this fight has to be done in 3 phases. I don't believe you can 1 phase solo, definitely not. There might be a way of doing it, I'm not sure. You're probably locked. Same again, once we're done with the 1st phase, we'll have another 3 solo captains. This is why soul is so important. So you must invest into a solo weapon. So if you're not using a Lament strat and you're using Anarchy, then I would suggest either using some sort of solar build, Sunbreaker, or at least a solar primary. Arc's not that important. These are captains down below, but you don't need to take them out. They're not required for the boss in terms of it's handy if you can take them out though. It clears the boss room a little bit and it just makes things a bit more consistent. But we can blind them. We have the ability to blind any ad. Whether they're shielded, unmatched, it does not matter for Truthteller or any blinding weapon. Now we're getting melee kills here on purpose. Why are we doing that? Well, because we have a perk on called Hands On. And Hands On gives us increased super energy on melee kills, which is perfect. So we're getting that increased energy, as you can see. So I basically nearly got a 2nd bubble. We're 7:30 on the clock, which means we can take our time. So the beauty of us rushing the start encounters has paid off, because now if we do need to play it safer for the boss, we can. Like, we're waiting on a bubble here. There's no ads up top to get our super energy, but we are 80%. So what we can do is bait the boss over. If there's any Ravagers, then take those out. Try and get a melee kill. Probably most efficient to do that anyways. Then what you can do is bait the boss to an exit. There's an exit at the back of the map. The back and the front, sorry. But on this particular exit, there's a pillar, there's a pipe you can stand on. The other side you can't, so this side's better. As you can see, look, I'm doing damage. I can do the bouncing shots. They're not doing that much damage, but it's doing something while I'm waiting on my bubble. So that's the main thing with this. Just keep doing your Truthtellers as well, because it blinds the captains and they keep putting their contraptions up, they keep firing at you, etc. So it's handy that, especially when you go for DPS. You can also do this where you can skip to the other side of the room. It just spreads out the ads a little bit better. As you can see, we do a bubble at the exit and then we can do damage. This damage will take you to 1/3 of the boss's HP. Once you get to 1/3, you want to jump up and jump out of that room. There'll be ads spawning, so there's like sort of mini phases in between main phases where just 2 or 3 spawn in. That's fine. You can kind of use them to your advantage by getting the melee kills. This is the good thing about having high strength and just Synthoceps in general. Even if we didn't have high strength, at least we're getting, you know, health, and we're getting super. So it's handy. Sometimes, time to time, Screebs can spawn. Sometimes it's Ravagers, sometimes it's Screebs. I haven't figured out for definite what it is. What's the difference? Because I've done this fight a couple of times, and sometimes there's a load of Screebs that spawn, and then sometimes there isn't any, but there's Ravagers. So I don't know what's going on with it. That's the only thing I'm not 100% on with the ad spawns, but just be prepared. If it's the scribes, you need to back up and blind them. Okay. You can hear the audio cue on scribes as well. So have your game audio turned up. Forget about the music. This is an important thing. Forget about music in Destiny. I play with no music. It's got some of the best game music of any game. But when you're playing something sweaty like this, you need to be listening to audio cues, add spawns. The game will indicate when something's changed. Turn down your game audio, your music volume, and crank up the actual noises of guns and spawns. And just turn music volume down. The SFX volume, whatever the volume button is. Can't mind at this time, but turn that one up so you can hear everything that's going on. Okay, so we're on the very last phase. We've been getting our melee kills again. So the whole fight entails that you get 3 bubbles. Now, if I didn't have hands on, I would struggle. That's why I'm saying it's so important. Have an arc helmet on. It does help out. We took a shield down off this captain. We're just blinding them. We've got a bit of Truthteller. We don't really need much Truthteller left, so plus we're getting some bricks, so we'll just keep using it. One important thing to note is when the boss is killed, the mission will end sort of thing, but the timer will keep ticking until you get to the final part. So when you do kill the boss, be careful of the arc captains, unless you've got a capable way of taking them. I mean, I could have sawed them, etc. But just be careful when you're leaving the area, because if they kill you in the back, that your flawless is gone. Forget about your soul flawless. You need to restart. So it's very important that you're cautious. Now I know there's 2 captains, but we can tank that. There's no Ravengers up, so not many. Well, there's none, so we're good. We do a bubble at the boss. Really good place because he stomped us into a wall, which is perfect. It means we stay in our bubble, and then we can do our lament. Do your lament when you lose your heavy charge. Do light swings. Wait for it. Some Ravagers spawned. We took those with the sword. Then, when you're high enough health, wait a little bit in your bubble. Then exit the area. The exit for the area will show you on the map. It's just a little doorway. Then, as long as you avoid those arc captains, like I said, they don't despawn. They should, but they don't. I think that's an oversight. They should despawn. I think that's bad design there, because you could lose your flawless. You could think, oh, I'm good, and then you just die. You know? So just be careful of that. As you can see, anyways, the time is still ticking. You haven't got mission complete, and you need to come to this end. So I just thought I would do this run on a Titan. As I said, this is probably going to be the hardest because you still are putting yourself at danger, but passive guard helps out. On a hunter, you go invis. More than likely, could do the lament strat, but I think anarchy will work a bit better on a hunter invis. You can just go invis, anarchy, etc. On a warlock, controversial, even well of radiance, I can see a lot of things being done. There's no fix for the warlock. There's a lot of good things. Chaos reach is good. Maybe even a Stormcaller build, because having a lot of super energy helps out on a run like this. But what you'll see as well is the time it takes, a long time to sort of finish, which you will see the triumphs pop up, the emblem, etc. Just in 2 ticks, and there you go. So that was the run on the Titan. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.